In addition to trying to make the playoffs, the Indiana Fever is rising. In a drama that might match your favorite reality program, NaLyssa Smith and Caitlin Clark are when you hear about the showdown, you won't believe that the drama on The Real Housewives is over the top. As the playoffs approach and emotions in the locker room increase more quickly than a three-point basket, a relationship between these two basketball players is on the rise. The sensational Caitlin seems to be taking center stage above NaLyssa, the team's former star player. Clark, what's actually going on between NaLyssa and Caitlin? Is envy brewing, or is it simply a passionate competitive spirit that can share the court without turning into a showdown? It's like watching a soap opera unfold on the court with jealousy, competition, and a sprinkle of shade. Bring on the popcorn, people. This isn't just a game. This is the WNBA's biggest problem right now. Before we delve further into this hot mess, please like and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss a second of it.
Anti-white hate towards Caitlin Clark is exactly that. But I could guarantee you if Caitlin Clark would take a knee and she would salute BLM, that all of this might dissipate overnight. But because she has not done that, here we are.
Tommy's right. It's not just race, though. It's also sexuality. Caitlin Clark is a white heterosexual woman in a black league, and they resent and are jealous of all of the attention and the shoe deal that she got. Instead of recognizing the truth, which is great athletes who people care about coming into your league really do make everybody more money, and hey, get you charter airplane flights instead of flying commercial.
Formerly a haven of team spirit and togetherness, the Indiana Fever locker room is now a pressure cooker ready to explode at any time. A rift has opened up, pulling apart a group of players who were previously united by a common objective. This rift is driven by a competition between two of its brightest stars located in the heart of. NaLyssa Smith, the Fever's former blazing star, is experiencing this change and is currently observing from the sidelines while the limelight shines on a new player. But don't write Smith off just yet. She's not the kind to go away. She's about to go all out and make her voice known, sending shockwaves over the team as she speaks into the backdrop.
Clark off the Smith screen, goes back for Smith, wide open at the foul line, and Smith cashes it.
That screen doubled Caitlin. She didn't get phased and gave it up quickly.
Here's Smith with the steal. Hillman giving chase. Smith the step through and draws the foul.
Took the W season off last year. She would certainly love a little bit of consistency. Ooh, NaLyssa Smith.
Here in the early going tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of talk of Caitlin.
Taylor cut off on the baseline. Smith shot fake the three. Oh, look at the behind the back. And the push shot. Smith showing off the moves.
NaLyssa Smith, such a talented, oh my goodness.
About 3 or 4 minute rest. Clark working the baseline. Good ball movement here. Smith is wide open and buries a triple.
In the W this season, you saw those numbers there. 3-time Olympic gold medalist, the league MVP, and she looks...
As the tension within the Fever grows, one important question remains. Will they survive this situation, which involves much more than simply a friendly rivalry? It involves identity, pride, and survival in a league where one mistake might mean sitting on the bench or, worse still, being transferred off to another team. Endure the impending conflict between Smith and the novice. What motivates Smith to confront the athlete who has stolen her thunder? Is NaLyssa Smith's time in Indiana coming to an end, or will she have a return worthy of a Hollywood screenplay?
Caitlin has done for not just college basketball, but for women's basketball, period, I think has been great. The following, people watching the game, sellouts that we haven't seen ever. It just really bothers me, though, when people just take bits and pieces of what they want to take and they don't listen to everything and you don't hear everything. It wasn't personal. One, it was my opinion on how I think she'll be at the next level, because I do remember me saying that Caitlin, to me, could be the best college shooter I've ever seen. When you put these expectations on these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant, and when that doesn't happen, then people come back and say, oh, she was a bust, she was a flop, she wasn't that good. Just let them do what they're doing in college, enjoy what they're doing in college, and let them become stars in the W.
We must go back a little in order to understand the seriousness of this issue. We must go back a little. Smith wasn't simply any player on the Fever squad. Rather, she was the team's rock. Her unwavering talent and innate leadership qualities allowed her to rise to the pinnacle of the sport. That she distinguished herself as the team's go-to player. She wasn't content to merely play basketball. Instead, she worked tirelessly to build the Indiana Fever's future play-by-play. Her admirers and the media both regarded her as the whole package.
My challenge every year is just to get better every single year, and I feel like I did that. I feel like I grew in every category, and I feel like I'm just like keep getting better. 2023 was great. I feel like this season was a great season. You know, going from 5 wins to 13 wins is tremendous, and it just shows the growth that we had over this past year, and I think it's only going to get better from here. I learned a lot about myself. You know, it's my second year of having an injury, so, you know, when I have injuries, it's just time to, you know, think about plans for the future and stuff like that. So I feel like I learned a lot about me.
What was the key for you to overcoming the injury and finishing the season strong?
I think it was more so just like the mental part of it, you know, getting back into, you know, playing again and getting back to, you know, how I started the season and just being.
Unfortunately, this season has been a roller coaster ride that isn't enjoyable. Smith was nothing short of amazing the previous season, averaging an incredible 15, 5 points and 2 rebounds per game, numbers that would make any coach weak in the knees. In spite of a career-high shooting percentage of 50.7% from the field and 41.7% from beyond the arc the rim, Smith's play has declined dramatically over the course of her first 9 games, averaging just 10.8 points and 6.8 rebounds. Speaking of playtime, this is where things get really intriguing. The truth is that her playing time has decreased. In the midst of all of this, Caitlin Clark, the new sensation, has emerged as the new focal point of the Fever. With her game-winning three-pointers and clutch performances, Clark has quickly become the new darling of the Fever, and Smith has been benched for 2 games. Her average minutes have also dropped to a pitiful 23. 3 per game from 28, 5 last season and 30, 7 during her rookie year.
That was what made that team so good, you two? Outside Clark again!
Clark over Horston, hits a 3! Knows no bounds.
Horston's got to come with hands up. You can't let Clark see the rim.
Nice. Boy, Enrique gave it to Cowan, who couldn't finish. Behind the back again for Clark. Give her another assist.
This abrupt change of emphasis is quite surprising for a player who once carried the team on his back. More than Clark's media attention, Smith's play is noteworthy. While Clark is generating headlines, time is slipping away. Smith is compelled to watch the NCAA tournament from the bench, and trust me when I say that her annoyance is mounting quicker than a weed.
Late tournament. And I was like, what do they feed the players in Texas? Well, what are they feeding Caitlin Clark? Because there we go with another behind the back and fancy finish.
And look, there is no question that the paint is a completely different story as Clark just went right by her former teammate and laid it in. She's got 20. And look, there is no question. Trying to clear 8. Shot clock down to 9. Here as Clark gets inside. The scoop shot falls. Indiana scoring has done it from the 3. Clark working on Van Loo. Oh, Clark, pretty step back. Hits a 3.
Watch Caitlin Clark get a little separation there. See, when the hand extends from the body, that is usually when they call an offensive
Smith
foul.
keeps it alive. Clark with the shot clock fading. Great look, and Smith lays it in.
Beautiful. And then Caitlin Clark here, that this could be jail, and instead
We're going to expect a big night here for Cunningham. She does a good job stepping in when she needs to.
Smith initially attempted to hide her dissatisfaction in the hopes that perseverance and hard work would grant her the moment she so desperately desired. But as Clark continued to enjoy the limelight, Smith's patience ran out. She began to voice her complaints, albeit quietly, by liking tweets that seemed to be critical of the Fever or alluded to her frustration. Things took a drastic turn when Smith tweeted a comment that struck a chord with certain people getting all the chances. Fans, ever the social media investigators, quickly noticed this trend and wondered whether she was conveying a covert message about her discontent. While she didn't mention names, it was obvious who she was targeting. This tweet was like a flare shot into the sky, indicating that Smith had reached her breaking point. Shortly after, she made a daring move during a practice that no one saw coming in an unexpected turn. While others worked twice as hard just to get a seat on the bench, Smith used her challenge to Clark to show that she was still a formidable opponent in a shooting battle, and that she was unwilling to be ignored. When teammates realized this wasn't a typical practice and that weeks of resentment and stress were about to explode, the gym changed drastically. Clark, the competitor, embraced the challenge with a smile, eager to demonstrate why she was the current fan favorite. The gym transformed into a Will's battleground, with both players trading blows like gladiators in an arena. Smith took the opening shot, and it went in cleanly. Her teammates held their breath, realizing that this was more than just a drill. This was a personal showdown. As the drill went on, Smith and Clark traded blows, each raising the stakes. With every basket, Smith's confidence grew, and Clark countered with her own clutch shots, demonstrating her proficiency with the flair. Although the practice concluded with a chuckle, the underlying tension persisted, suggesting that this competition was far from over.
I swear I've never seen a league like the WNBA where you can't just be happy with a win. Something always has to come into the equation after the fact. Usually it's people hating on Caitlin Clark or, discussing some sort of discourse that happened online. Dejanay Carrington has been part of that in the past. She said stuff after games that became a topic of conversation, most recently after a Fever win over the Sun. And I gotta tell you, this one annoyed me a little bit. And let me be clear. I don't care about NaLyssa Smith and Dejanay Carrington's relationship. That is their business. That is their personal business. I hope they are both happy. I hope they're happy together. Whatever that relationship looks like, it's fine. But when you talk about the playoffs, it's another subplot going into what is likely going to be, or it might be locked by now, a Fever and Sun playoff series. And the Carrington-Caitlin Clark on-court rivalry is awesome and electric. I love that. But you could almost look at it as gamesmanship a little bit.
Even though no one was talking about it in public, Smith's challenge left the locker room divided. With Clark's ascent to fame and Smith's frustrations building, it was evident that the dynamics within the team had changed significantly. All of this drama, the challenge, and the simmering tension pointed to one clear and distinct cause. The reality since the Indiana Fever prepares for the playoffs is that the key concern is whether NaLyssa Smith and Caitlin Clark can fit in together. Since Smith was having trouble adjusting to a quickly changing team environment, fans are drawn to the drama as both players compete for the spotlight while sharing a squad, giving the impression that the Fever's future is in jeopardy.
For the first time in 7 seasons, the Fever heading to the playoffs.
Yeah, this will be the 14th playoff appearance for the Fever franchise. CBS 4's Claire Curry joins us live now at Bicentennial Unity Plaza down by Gamebridge Fieldhouse with how fans are feeling about it. Hi, Claire.
That's right. I'm here outside Gamebridge where fans are arriving to the game, all excited for tonight's game against the LA Sparks, but even more excited that the Fever have secured their spot into the WNBA playoffs.
In conclusion,
as the Indiana Fever get closer to the playoffs, the conflict between NaLyssa Smith and Caitlin Clark has grown to be a major problem. The rivalry and overshadowing that underlie this disagreement have made the locker room tense and endangering the team's cohesiveness. Fans watch the rivalry develop and wonder how it will affect the Fever's performance on the court. Will NaLyssa step up to take back her role, or will Caitlin continue to steal the show? NaLyssa was once the star of the show, but she is now struggling with being in the background, and her frustration is evident. With the playoffs rapidly approaching, tensions are high and pressure is building. Each game will be crucial not only for victories but also for building team dynamics. This isn't just about competition, it's also about pride and survival in a league where every choice and every performance can impact future opportunities. Smith and Clark's conversations will be critical in deciding whether the team can come together or if the friction will hurt their chances of success. The Fever must carefully handle this internal discord if they want to maintain their playoff drive. The fact remains that both players are extremely talented and driven, but how they handle their differences will be crucial to the team's future. With the playoffs quickly approaching, the question of whether these two players can get along on the court arises. How well they handle and resolve this tension will impact both players' individual journeys and the team's overall success as the Fever gets ready for the postseason. The future of the Fever depends on NaLyssa and Caitlin accepting their roles as rivals or teammates and prioritizing the team's objectives. Fans are eager to see how the Fever will handle this urgent matter, and they are watching closely to see if they can resolve this issue and focus their competitive spirits toward a common goal. Will they overcome internal obstacles and make a strong playoff run, or will the conflict derail their momentum? The Indiana Fever needs to face this issue head-on if NaLyssa and Caitlin can find common ground and support each other. If this happens, the team could emerge stronger and more united. One thing is certain as this issue develops. It promises to be an exciting story in the WNBA. In the high-stakes world of professional basketball, maintaining focus and unity is crucial. Both Smith and Clark have the potential to make a significant impact, but their ability to manage this rivalry will ultimately define their contributions to the team. The Fever's playoff aspirations will require collaboration and a shared vision to succeed as they prepare for their playoff games. While we look ahead to the playoffs, let's keep an eye on how this situation plays out, since the playoffs are an important time for growth and resilience, and the Fever is at a turning point that could influence their future. The basketball world will be eagerly watching the Indiana Fever as they approach this task, anticipating whether it will result in a victory or additional issues. The team is poised for something big. We'd like to hear your opinion, since one thing is for sure, this problem is far from being handled and will affect the team going ahead. How do you feel about this situation? Will NaLyssa take back her role, or is Caitlyn's ascent to prominence here to stay? Please leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and make sure to subscribe for further updates on this urgent matter and everything WNBA. The playoffs are quickly approaching, and you won't want to miss what transpires next.